Hello everyone, very good evening to you all. So it's amazing to see you everyone live here with us for learning AWS Essentials. So it's day 4 today. So before starting, I want to tell you people that please register if you haven't registered yet, and also few pointers that attendance is mandatory, like giving attendance every day is mandatory for being eligible for the certification exam. And the second pointer is assignment. You can find the assignment in our community, but assignment is not mandatory for like giving the certification exam. And now let's discuss about the topics which we have already covered yesterday. So ma'am has covered yesterday elastic block storage, that is EBS, different types of EBS volumes, AWS storage and VGN, S3 service, how to create a bucket and then upload, how to create a bucket in S3 console and like add files there. Then like after like, terminating the instance, ma'am has already shown that. Then ma'am has covered AWS S3 storage classes and data lifecycle. And the last one is networking in AWS. And the third thing is, I will be like there are total two quizzes today. So in between the session, we will just post the quiz links. So like over to you, ma'am. Now.
Yeah, thank you, Antripa. Hi, everyone. Good evening. Good evening, everyone. I can see so many people available now. Yes, good evening, good evening. Okay, so I guess Antripa has already summarized what we did in yesterday's class, right? Yesterday's session. We have discussed about the networking components like VPC, subnets, route tables, and then we've seen, working with S3 buckets, lifecycle policies, and then we saw how we can use S3 buckets for versioning. Okay, and then we saw how we can create and manage objects inside our S3 buckets as well. And then we worked with EBS volumes as well, the different types of EBS volumes. So today we'll be discussing about the identity and access management, and then we'll be talking about few of the load balancing, auto scaling, all these concepts we'll be discussing today. Okay, so I think we're good to go. Let's start. Okay, I guess my screen is visible. I'm sharing my screen now. Yes. Okay, so today we're going to be starting with this particular topic, which is your load balancing. Okay, so load balancing is nothing but so in a server and in a production environment, or when you want to, you deploy your application. Okay, it could be you're hosting a website on a server. Okay, if that is the case, you want to manage the traffic to the server. Okay, so you don't generally, deploy your website on a single server. You would probably have, depending upon the traffic to your website, you might be having a couple of servers or even 10 servers deployed into the network, okay, with on which you have deployed your websites. Okay, so in this case, let's say, let me get my pen now. Okay, so when I have 10 different servers in my network on which I have hosted my application, okay, on all the 10 servers, I have hosted my application. Okay, if that is the case, I want the traffic to be answered by all the 10 servers in the network. Okay, I don't want, only a single server to be continuously responding to my request. Okay, so yes. Okay, so let's say I have server 1 here, I have server 2, I have server 3. Okay, so let's say this is my target group. What is a target group? A set of servers on which or for which you want to, manage the traffic. Okay, so these three form a single group. Okay, so I want the traffic to be equally distributed between the available number of servers. I don't want the traffic to be, every time the traffic should not be redirected to server 1, okay, or server 2. In this case, what will happen if all the traffic gets redirected to a single server? The problem is that this server will be, the load on this server will go high, and this server might go down. You don't want such a scenario to happen. So you are, you expect the traffic to be equally distributed between the available number of servers. Okay, if you have three servers, you want the traffic to be equally distributed between the three servers that is available in the network. Okay, so you don't want one server to be 60%, to have an utilization of 60%, and the other server to have an utilization of 40%, and the other server to be remaining idle. Okay, you want the traffic to be distributed evenly between the available number of servers inside the network, and that's what your load balancer does. Okay, your load balancer is an utility that lets you distribute the traffic evenly between the available number of servers in the network. Okay, so that is the purpose of using a load balancer. Okay, so let's talk about the types of load balancers. So these are, okay, let's discuss the features, then we'll move into type. So when we talk about the features, we can, what are the different protocols that can be managed using ELB? So your HTTPS, HTTP, TCP, and SSL protocols can be managed. Your ELB types, again, it could be an internet facing. When I say internet facing, it is going to be managing the traffic from the internet, and it could also be used to manage the internal traffic. And you will be, now when we were trying to access our instances, we had public IPs. Okay, so the public IPs of the instances can be used to gain access to the instance. Here, when we want to have access to our the load balancer, we will have a DNS name and not a IP associated. Okay, and your elastic load balancer helps you provide or create an highly available network. What is this highly available network? It's a very important concept, high availability. Okay, so if I have a website that's been hosted on, let's say, three servers, okay, and the traffic is continuously routed to this entire target group. Okay, the traffic gets routed to this target group. Okay, so all the three servers are serving the traffic. So you have a load balancer which is going to be equally distributing the traffic between the available number of servers. If that is the case, your ELB is going to be continuously monitoring all the servers inside this network. Okay, your elastic load balancer will continuously monitor all the servers in the network. If there is a problem with the server, let's say this particular server 1 has gone down, okay, for some reasons, what happens is ELB, your elastic load balancer, is able to recognize that this particular instance is not healthy. Okay, it automatically removes this instance from the target group, and the traffic gets redirected to the remaining instances inside the target group. Okay, so that is one of the applications of using your elastic load balancer. So you're spreading EC2 instances across healthy channels, across healthy regions, centralized management of SSL, your secure socket layer certificates. So that is also possible. Also your public key authentication, which is optionally available. And your elastic load balancer supports both IPv6 and IPv4 addressing. Okay, so these are the features of elastic load balancer. Yes, so we have different types of load balancer: application load balancer, network load balancer, and classic load balancer. So what is this application load balancer? So this one is going to be at the application layer, okay, layer 7, and it is going to be managing your HTTP and HTTPS traffic. Okay, so this one is for managing the traffic to your applications. Okay, and then we have our classic load balancer. Sorry, let's talk about networking before we move into classic. So here, when I talk about networking load balancer, this one is going to be acting at layer 4. Okay, and it handles a traffic which is TCP, TLS, and UDP traffic, and it gives you a method for allocating a static IP for your application, and you are able to have a high performance when you use a network load balancer. Yes, so we have this classic load balancer, which is not much of use these days. Okay, so the most popular ones are your application load balancer and your network load balancer. Okay, so this is the previous generation where you're going to be integrating, where it gives you a platform for integrating both HTTP, HTTPS, and TCP traffic. So now you have separately an application load balancer and a network load balancer. Separate load balancer for handling HTTP, HTTPS traffic, and one for TCP UDP traffic. Okay, so yes, this one is built with EC2 Classic network, and this operates both at the request level as well as at the connection level. Okay, so load balancer type, as I already said, you can have it in two different ways. One is your internet facing one and the internal facing one. The internet facing one takes requests from the client, okay, which faces the internet. So the requests that comes from the internet are handled and it distributes them across the EC2 instances that are registered with the load balancer. When I say internal load balancer, it is going to be routing the traffic to EC2 instances inside the private subnets. We'll be talking about the concepts of private and public subnets once we move into our advanced program. Okay, so we have something called a private subnet, we have something called a public subnet. The contents in the public subnet, the servers in the public subnet will directly have access to the internet. That means it can communicate directly to the internet or the resources in the internet. Okay, whereas the instances in your private subnet does not have a direct connectivity with your internet. Okay, so your load balancer, internal load balancer, can be used to route traffic to EC2 instances in your private subnet. Okay, so what are the different use cases of ELB? First one is high availability. That's what I said. So when I have a particular website or an application that has been hosted on a server, I want to make this application highly available. What is the meaning of highly available? That particular application should not have downtime. Okay, so it should be able to spring back from a error very efficiently or in a very short span of time. Okay, you want to make your application readily available, highly available. It should be fault tolerant. Okay, so even though there is a server failure, you should have an infrastructure implemented which will help you spring back from the failure. Okay, so that's about high availability. Health check is like your monitoring. Okay, so you continuously monitor your environment. You have your entire infrastructure in the cloud. Okay, you have your instances, you have your that means you have your servers, you have your networking components, you have your databases. Everything is available in your cloud. Okay, the entire infrastructure is available in your cloud, and your ELB is capable of monitoring all your instances for its health. Okay, health checks are continuously happening. Security features, you will be, when I say internal facing load balancer, I'm able to provide load balancing between the instances inside my private subnet as well, and also TLS termination. Okay, transport layer security termination is also enabled using when we use a elastic load balancer. Yes, so now let's move into the next topic, which is auto scaling. Okay, so we've seen elastic load balancing. Now we're moving into auto scaling. What is this auto scaling? I've already told you that main reason, or a very important advantage of having your cloud computing environment is that you will be you can scale up or scale down the number of resources very efficiently. Okay, so when there is a demand on demand, you would be able to have configurable shared resources which are provided to you by the provider. Okay, so auto scaling is nothing but scaling up or scaling down of resources based on your demand. If the traffic goes high, automatically new instances are added into your network. If the traffic goes low, then instances are removed from the network. Okay, so that's what your auto scaling is all about. So using auto scaling, you are able to achieve better fault tolerance, availability, and you are able to achieve cost management as well. Okay, if there is a problem with the server, you are able to spring back from that. You are able to provide a highly available network that is also there. At the same time, when I'm reducing the idle resources. If the resource is not needed, I'm releasing it back into the shared pool. My auto scaling is going to be automatically scaling down the resources if there is no need for these resources. Okay, so I'm able to efficiently manage my cost. Okay, so that is also an auto scaling benefit. So we have different scaling policies. We can set the scaling policy, and we would be able to handle the traffic or manage the demand for the instances. Okay, so these are the different types of auto scaling. Okay, so here we have scheduled. When I say scheduled, at this particular time, okay, when you are able to predict what your workload would be, there might be scenarios where you are like very much confident that this particular period between 2 p.m. to 5 p.m. will be my peak hours. If you're very much confident about that, you are able to very well predict what your traffic would be at a particular point of time. Okay, when you have a predictable workload, you can use a scheduled auto scaling. So here you are able to set an auto scaling policy based on the time of the day. Okay, so here you would be able to an example is given here where you are able to turn off your dev and test instances at night. So at that time you don't use the dev and test instances. Okay, so at a particular point of time, you can either turn it off, or at a particular point of time you predict the traffic to be very high, so you automatically set auto scaling group. Okay, so all these things could be done when you use a schedule. And then your dynamic, when I say dynamic, where you're not able to win, where you're not very sure about the traffic requirements or the workload requirements, in that case you go in for using a dynamic auto scaling, and it supports target tracking. So what is the CPU utilization? Earlier when I was talking about elastic load balancer, I said elastic load balancer is going to be distributing the traffic evenly between the available number of instances, and I don't want one server to be utilized to 60% and the other server to be utilized to 40%. So this is what my CPU utilization is about. Okay, so when the workload increases, my CPU utilization increases. Okay, so when the CPU utilization goes beyond 60%, I can set a limit. Okay, when my CPU utilization goes beyond 60%, add new instances into the auto scaling, I mean the network. Okay, so that's about your dynamic auto scaling. Okay, and then predictive. So this one is going to be something like your machine learning based, which is going to be automatically analyzing the patterns, and then it is going to be adding new servers into the network. Okay, so it is not necessary for you to manually understand the pattern and then set auto scaling policies. So these are the three different types of auto scaling. Okay, yes, I guess everybody is clear with these two topics. Antaripa, let's take questions for these two topics now.
Related to these topics, we don't have any doubts.
Okay,
Uh, Let me see, like, let me wait for 2 to 3 minutes, see if there are any doubts.
I'm also checking the chat box, guys.
There was one question like whether ELB works as round robin or master
Round
slave
robin
algorithm.
or master slave algorithm. See, it does not use a master slave algorithm, it uses a round robin. It is going to be continuously monitoring all the servers inside your network, inside the target group, and whichever server it knows, it is continuously monitoring the servers, and it is going to be distributing the traffic evenly between the available number of servers. It is not a master slave configuration. Yes.
Maybe we can do the first quiz, I guess, then.
Okay. You want to release it so early? No problem. Yes, guys, let's go in for the first quiz.
Because I can't see any questions.
Okay, so there is another question: how we will get the CPU 60% utilization. So that's what there is a monitoring that is continuously involved in the background, and this monitoring will be able to analyze your CPU utilization. We have CloudWatch metrics that could be used for monitoring. Okay, so using that, you can get your values. You can predict your values, you can analyze your values, and using those values you can set auto scaling policies.
Auto
Yes.
scaling types. One more time. Someone
Okay,
has
auto
asked.
scaling types. You have the first one is scheduled. So scheduled is going to be at a particular point of time. You want to set a particular auto scaling policy. It could be the example here given is turning off your dev and test instances. Okay, the instances which you use for your dev and test environments, you could be turned off during night time so that you don't get charged for that time. Okay, again, so this is based on a particular time of the day, or at a particular point of time on a day. You want to you predict the traffic to be very high, and you want to add new instances into the network, so you could do that as well. So that's going to be a schedule based one. The next one is dynamic one. So here your cpu utilization might vary at different times, and you are going to be continuously monitoring your servers for cpu utilization. Okay, and when your cpu utilization goes beyond a particular limit, it could be a 60%, or you could set the limit. Okay, so once it goes beyond a limit, you go in for using a uh, you know um, adding new servers into the network. So that is going to be your dynamic auto scaling, and your predictive is something which it learns on its own. How did I say when we were talking about S3 intelligent tiering? Okay, so your S3 intelligent tiering is capable of analyzing the usage or accessibility, the frequency with which a particular file is accessed. Okay, so it automatically predicts that, and then it is able to set the life cycle. Okay, it is able to transition between the different storage classes. Similarly, your predictive auto scaling is something, it happens on its own. Okay, you need not set any restrictions on the time of the day, or you need not give any cpu utilization or any metrics like that. Okay, it automatically learns the pattern, and it is going to be adjusting the auto scaling policies. Okay.
Yeah, we have one more question then. How to manage load in load balancers? How can we be sure that load knocks down a load balancer?
Does not lock down a load balancer. Okay, so a load balancer cannot be locked down. Okay, so maybe there is some words missing in this question. Anyways, so how do you manage a load balancer, load on a load balancer? See, all the traffic is going to be directed to your load balancer, and your load balancer is responsible, so it's, we call it decoupling. Okay, so when the traffic comes from the internet, see here, so these are my servers in my target group. Okay, I have one server here, I have the other server here, and I have the other server here. Okay, I have a layer of load balancer here. Okay, so the requests are directly coming from the internet. If there is no load balancer here in middle, okay, what will happen, the request from the internet directly hits your servers. Okay, so that is when you're not able to distribute the traffic between the servers. Okay, so you want to reduce this, you want to loose couple this, and that's where you go in for using a elastic load balancer. Okay, so here you have your load balancers. I mean, here you have your servers, here's your load balancer. The load, the entire traffic hits the load balancer, and your load balancer is going to be redirecting the traffic, or equally distributing the traffic between the available number of servers inside your target group.
When
Okay.
should one more question, ma'am?
Yeah. See,
When should
classic load balancer. Yeah, I read that question, Antripa. So there's a question: why should I use a classic load balancer and application? So application load balancer is used when in scenarios where you want to manage, or distribute or manage an web application traffic, a traffic to your HTTP. It could be using your HTTP or HTTPS protocols. Okay, in such a case, you go in for using a application load balancer. The classic load balancer is not it's outdated. It's like it combines, it was used before. Okay, it's a single load balancer that was available for both http https as well as tcp traffic. So the tcp and udp traffic is now moved to be balanced by your network load balancer. Okay, so that is the difference. Antripa, let's release the quiz now. Antripa?
Yeah, ma'am, I'm releasing the quiz.
Yeah.
So the quiz is live in the chat section. You guys can attempt the quiz 1 of day 4.
Waiting for update from your end, guys. Once you're done with the quiz, just let us know. Okay. This one update. Om Sugandhi. So she's got the first place. Third place, Umarani. Arivaraja at the second place. Yes. Okay. So I assume that everybody has taken the quiz. 2 more minutes. Yes, guys. Okay. So shall we continue? Yes. So now we're moving to AWS Identity and Access Management, IAM. Okay, AWS IAM. So this particular service IAM is used for identification, authorization, authentication. Okay, so that is what the main purpose of your identity and access management is all about. Okay, it lets you, or it integrates with other AWS services. Okay, I can use my IAM principles with my S3 bucket or with my EC2 instances. This is going to be all about user permissions, group permissions. Okay, who can have access to which particular entity, which particular service inside my cloud platform. Okay, what is the level of access this particular user can have within this environment. All such things are going to be defined using your identity and access management. Okay, and federated identity management is, again, maybe you want to give permissions for a particular user for a very short period of time. Maybe you want there is some problem with your network and you want some third party people to be troubleshooting your environment, or scenarios where you want to give a temporary token. Okay, so in that case you can go in for using of federated identity management or secure access for applications in scenarios where you want to have or grant a secure access to applications. It could be applications, or even it could be secure access to the resources inside your network. Okay, so either ways, you can use your identity and access management for giving your granular permissions. Okay, all levels of permissions, I'll show you that. We'll be working with users and groups now, so you will have better understanding of this particular concept. Okay, so the root user, I think there was someone who asked me this question the first day itself. What is a root user and what is an identity and access management user? Let me show you in the console directly. Okay, so can you see this root user and an IAM user? Okay, so root user is the one, the free trial account that you have created, and the IAM users are users who are created within an account. Okay, so now how do we go into identity and access management? IAM, manage access to resources. So this is the one that we are learning now. Okay, so this is my console. Okay, this is my identity and access management console. So here, can you see groups, users, roles, policies? So these are different IAM principles. Okay, so the root user
Hello, ma'am. Hello. Ma'am, I guess your internet connection is weak. Okay, so guys, there may be some internet connection problem from ma'am's side. So please wait for at least 2 to 3 minutes. Ma'am will be rejoining. Till then, what you can do is you can fill the attendance form, ask your doubts so that later in the doubt session I can ask ma'am. And also those who have not yet attended the quiz 1, they can attempt the quiz. Please wait for 2 minutes. Ma'am will be rejoining. I don't know. Someone Pramod, you were telling me that, ma'am, you can tell something if you know. I don't know much about AWS. I'm sorry about that. Mm, you can tell me like how was your experience till day 3? What you people have learned? Like an interaction should go on till then. Yeah, Shivakant, sure, sure. Those who have not yet given the attendance, please give your attendance. As if you give your attendance every day, like till 7 days, this essential program is for 7 days, you will get a chance to win As you know, Sir Sai sir has already told in the first day that you have a chance to win either Alexa or Google Mini Home. So please give your attendance. um, so the eligibility criteria for certification, so the certification exam, is not the AWS certification exam, it's our Let's Upgrade certification exam for AWS. So if you complete the day, like all the 7 days, if you and also give the attendance, then you are eligible, nothing more than that. And the assignment is also not mandatory. The assignment and quiz we have kept only for like fun learning. Other than that, I guess ma'am has joined with, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Sorry, guys. I got disconnected. Um, Antripa, any idea where I got disconnected? What was the?
Yeah, ma'am. You
I don't
just
know. I
like
got
logged.
disconnected. I was
You
continuing.
just, you just logged in AWS and you were trying to show something, and during that time your like
Okay.
screen got
Fine. Fine.
closed. Yeah.
Okay, no problem. Yeah, let's start from there. So this is your IAM console. This is your identity and access management console. Okay, so here using this console, I'll be able to create users, groups, roles, policies. I can set policies for each of these users. Okay, so the entire set of granular permissions can be set for different users using your IAM console. Okay, so we'll be working with the users. Okay, so here so your root user has a complete set of privileges. So your billing information, the personal data, the entire architecture, the whole component, the whole set of components that is available in your AWS environment, okay, can be accessed by the root user. Okay, and you
Ma'am, can you
cannot.
share the screen?
Exactly, yes. Thank you, Antripa. Okay, so we cannot limit the privileges of a root user. Okay, then IAM principles. So these are the different principles of IAM. First one is user, second one is federated user, IAM role, and then identity provider. Okay, so these are the different concepts that we'll be learning now. IAM users, these are users who are present within your account, and each of them will have their own credentials. Okay, so users can be authorized to perform any specific task, okay, based on the permissions you assign to the user. Just in case if I give the user permission to be S3 full access, then the user will have access to S3 alone. They will not be able to do any work with EC2. Okay, if I give that particular user to be having full access to EC2, in that case that user will have access to complete access to EC2, but then he cannot have any access to the S3 buckets or any other components inside your console. Okay, and if you create a user and then if you give them the administrator permissions, then that particular user will be able to perform all the administrator activities. Okay, there are no default permissions. By default you don't have any permissions for a user, so explicitly you will have to give permissions for every user that you create. Okay, and you can grant access using the management console, or you can use the CLI as well. IAM groups, it is nothing but a collection of IAM users. Okay, so rather than explaining this, let me show you the demo directly. Okay, so here okay, so this is my IAM console. We can create add user. Okay, we can create a new user here. Just click on add user. Username, let's say, let's upgrade user 1. Okay, give AWS management console access. AWS management console access, and never give an auto generated password. Use a custom password. Okay, so when I say custom password, I'm going to be creating a password of my choice. Okay, okay, user must create a new password at next sign in. When I give this, when I tick this box, it is going to be prompting the user to change the password. password when he's trying to sign into this account the next time. Okay, so that comes under the password policy. I'll show you that as well. Okay, so that is about managing the password policies. So I'm not giving any, if I'm going to be ticking this box, then when this particular user logs in the next time, okay, the first time when he's trying to log in using his user credentials, he would be prompted to change the password. Okay, yes, so I'm not ticking this box now. So I have just given some user password. Just go ahead with permissions. So I can attach existing policies directly. Okay, so these are the different types of policies that are available. Okay, we can filter out, we can search for certain policies. Let's say I want to give this particular user S3 full access. Can you see this S3 full access? I'm going to be giving this user full access to my S3 console. Okay, just click on this, next tags, select this and next tags. Okay, so here I can tag, I can add tags, it is optional. Just go ahead, review. So here can you see the name of this user is Let's Upgrade user 1. Okay, and then we have given a custom password, and it does not require a password reset when the user logs in for the first time. And the permission that is associated with this user is Amazon S3 full access. Create user. Can you see this? Create user. And close. So now this user has an Amazon resource name, right? ARN. I told you yesterday itself, ARN is your Amazon resource name, which is going to be associated with every resource that you have inside your AWS console. It is going to be associated with the Amazon resource name. So just copy this Amazon resource name. Okay, I can use that to log in as an IAM user. Let's log out as a root user and let's try to log in as a IAM user. Click as IAM user. I've copy pasted the ARN. Okay, so you need the username. Let's use one, the username and the password. You will be logging in as a IAM user now. Can you see? Earlier it was username, the original root account username reflecting. Now it's reflecting the IAM username. Let's upgrade user 1. Okay, so that is the IAM username. And if you remember, the permission that was given to this user is S3 full access. As I already told you, if you give the permission as S3 full access, it is going to, this particular user will have only permissions to access the S3 console. He cannot have any access to your EC2 console. So let's first try to access S3. S3, just go to S services. So once we go there, you will be able to create buckets. We have already done an exercise in creating buckets, right? So here it takes us, see, this is our S3 console. We can create buckets here. Do you have the permissions? Can you see the bucket? If you don't have the permission, you basically cannot see the bucket itself. When I click on create bucket, it takes me to the console where I can create and manage objects inside the bucket. Okay, that is possible. Okay, so let's check if we have access to EC2. Can you see? You don't have access. Okay, it shows errors. Okay, if I just click on instances, if I just click on launch instance, if I select this, if I launch, when I go into launching this instance, it will not permit me to do so. Okay, so let's just take this console. Okay, let's not proceed with the entire step. Okay, but then it does not let me, it will not let me to execute this task of creating a instance inside this console. Okay, earlier yesterday when we were trying to create our EC2 instances, this was not the console. Okay, so you had access to all these entities or utilities within your EC2 dashboard. Now everything shows error because you don't have the permissions. Okay, for this particular user the permission is just S3. Okay, yes, so now let's log back in as the root user. I'm going to be signing in as a root user. Okay, okay, so this is again my root user account, so I can set different policies for my users. So again, using your IAM console, you can create n number of users, you can create n number of groups, you can add users to groups. Okay, so all these things are possible within your IAM console. Okay, so your groups is going to be collection of users, so you create a number of users and then you add the users to the groups. You can set either user policies, you can set group policies. So any user who gets added to a group get they are under the group policy as well. Okay, the group policy also applies to these users. Okay, and a user can belong to multiple groups, but you cannot be nesting multiple groups together. Okay, a particular user can belong to group 1, group 2 and group 3, but group 1 cannot be a part of another group. Okay, group nesting is not supported by Amazon Web Services. Okay, multi-factor authentication. So what is this multi-factor authentication? When we were trying to log into our AWS console, if you have seen, we gave a username and a password. Okay, there is another level of security that can be implemented, which is called a multi-factor authentication. So this is a second layer of authentication that can be implemented into the network. Okay, into your AWS console. Okay, so we have MFA devices. Okay, you have a Google Authenticator. Okay, you can download Google Authenticator in your mobile, and then you would be able to register that device into your AWS account. So once you do that, what will happen is you have a code that is generated inside your Google Authenticator. Okay, so when you want to log into your AWS account the next time after setting up an MFA authentication, the first level of security that you will have to mention is your username and password. Okay, so the moment you give your username and password, you will move into the next layer of authentication. So that's going to be your MFA code. Okay, so all these demos will be covered in our advanced training. Okay, using your managing groups, managing group policies, user policies, and then working with multi-factor authentication. All these things will be covered in our advanced training. Okay, so we will be registering a device. Okay, registering your Google Authenticator device into your this particular AWS account, and then once you give your multi-factor authentication code, you will be able to log into your AWS console. Okay, so you have efficiently implemented a two-layer authentication using a multi-factor authentication service. Okay, so it's just that you will have to have a MFA device registered with this account. So we have already done creating and managing users lab. The next topic is route 53. Okay, so this one, when I say Route 53, I guess everybody has heard of domain naming system. Okay, so this one is responsible for mapping your IPs into human readable domain names. Okay, so that is the purpose of your DNS. Okay, translates domain names into IP addresses and vice versa. Okay, so you can automatically manage domain names, you can automatically configure DNS settings using your Route 53, and you are able to provide have highly available architectures by using Route 53. I'll tell you what these Route 53 highly available options are, and it also provides you with multiple routing options. Okay, so these are the different routing options, which is simple round robin, weighted round robin. When I say simple round robin, automatically if I have healthy regions or healthy servers, it is going to be directly directing the traffic equally between the available number of servers. Okay, on a on an equal basis. Okay, equally distributes the traffic between the available all the available servers. If it is a weighted round robin fashion, then what will happen is, let's say I have for simplicity, I'm just taking 3 servers. Let's say the weight for this server is 3, and the weight for this server is 1. Okay, and the weight for this server is, I'm not giving any allotting any weight to the server. Okay, let's assume only 2 servers. Okay, so when I have 2 servers inside the network and I have allotted a weight of 3, so what it means is that 75% of the traffic will get redirected to this server. Okay, 75% of the traffic will be redirected to this server, and 25% of the traffic will get redirected to this server, will be handled by this server. So that is about weighted round robin. If it's going to be simple round robin, automatically it redirects traffic between equally among the servers. Weighted round robin, the you assign weights between 1 to 255, and then the one with that particular weight, higher weight, is going to be receiving more traffic. And then you have latency based routing. Okay, there might be scenarios where you want to reduce the latency with which you are delivering service to your customers. Okay, so you want to deliver service to your customers with minimal latency. In such cases, you go in for using a latency based routing. Health check, it continuously monitors your entire environment, and if there is a problem with a particular DNS, it automatically routes the traffic to the other DNS. So if I have a network, okay, if I have a network here, and let's say I have 2 different networks. So this network has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 servers, and this network has another 5 servers, and there is an ELB that is managing the traffic to these servers. Okay, so the ELB will have a DNS. So this is going to be my Route 53. Okay, that is managing or redirecting the traffic. Okay, this is my Route 53 that is managing the traffic. So once it analyzes that this DNS is it continuously manages or checks the health of the entire network. Okay, so if there is a problem with this particular DNS, it automatically has a failover. The DNS failover takes place, and then it is able to redirect the traffic to the healthy DNS. Okay, and then geolocation routing. Okay, so based on maybe you want to customize the content based on the location. Maybe you want to serve a web content in Japanese in the region Japan. Okay, you want to serve a web content in Chinese in the region China. So geolocation routing helps you set or granularize the privileges, okay, based on the location. Okay, or make some changes to the settings based on the location. And then geo proximity routing, it is how close the users are to the services that are available. So using the geo proximity routing, you would be able to give access to the users who are closer. The endpoints which are closer to the users will be automatically responding to the user request. Okay, so the when I say endpoint, this is like CloudFront. Okay, CloudFront edge locations or the endpoints. Okay, so the endpoint which is closer to the user will be responding to the user request. Okay, so these are the different Route 53 routing options. When I say highly available option, so this one, when I have fault tolerant network enabled. So I have an entire network here and an entire infrastructure here. When there is a problem, when a particular infrastructure goes down completely, I have my DNS failover, which automatically takes up and it provides me with a highly available application. Okay, I guess everybody is clear with this concept.
Are we taking questions now, ma'am?
Yeah, sure, no problem.
Yeah. So few people were asking, yeah, few people were telling that we should do a practical on load balancing and auto scaling. Maybe it comes under AWS one practical lab. And
Advanced. Yes, we will be doing load balancing and auto scaling
ma'am, your voice is breaking, I guess.
with our advanced course.
Ma'am, your voice was breaking.
Okay, fine, fine, fine. So we'll be working with
Uh,
load balancing and auto scaling in our advanced program.
Next is does AWS has its own
Okay,
MFA
okay, one
authentication
minute,
apps?
Antarika, just give me a minute. I can see comments like you want me to slow down. Yes, okay, I'll slow down a bit. Okay, no problem. Yes, yes, Antripa, please give me the question.
Hmm. Does AWS has its own MFA authentication apps instead of G Authenticator?
No, Google Authenticator, Microsoft Authenticator is available. You can use any of those authentication, softwares.
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
next question.
If we lose our MFA, then how to recover?
Okay, so if you lose your MFA, when you will not actually lose your MFA, okay, but then if you automatically some accidentally delete it, then it is very difficult for you to retrieve your account. So don't do that. Don't get into such a situation.
What is latency?
Latency is the delay. Okay, so if I'm requesting for an access now, okay, so it's like I'm requesting the moment I need a file. Okay, I click on that particular file and then I don't have instantaneous access to the file. There is some time delay between my request and the response. That is latency. Okay, the time between my request and the response, that is latency. You don't want the latency to be very high. Okay, the response time has to be very fast. Okay, so you want to reduce the latency. Okay, so that's what is going to be making your application delivery much faster. Okay, when your latency is very less. Yes.
I'm checking. Does the IAM user password has any restriction?
You can set the restrictions for the user password in for an IAM user. So even when you were trying to log in to some of the applications, you might be having notices like this should be the password length. Set a password which has this particular special character, with one special character, with one uppercase, with one lowercase, and the password length should be 11 digits. Okay, or 12 digits or 8 digits. Okay, such restrictions can be set. Okay, this can be done using the password policies. Okay, so you have the password policies where you would be able to set how, whether you want to have a special character in the password, whether you want the user to set the password, or whether you want to the user, you want to give the user permission to change his own password, or should the administrator be the one to change the password. Okay, all these comes under the category of password policies.
What is the use of role in IAM?
Okay, so what is the use of role? See, we create roles, okay, for services. Okay, you might be having certain services. Let's say I have a service S3. Okay, I want to create a user role. Okay, and for this role, I want to attach, permissions to S3. Okay, so in such a case, I give access to the particular user role. Okay, I create a user role and then attach a particular policy like S3 access. Okay, I attach this policy to the user role, and then this particular role is assigned to some, maybe to an EC2 instance. Okay, so that the EC2 instance can access some object from the S3 bucket. Okay, so that is the purpose of using roles.
Yeah, ma'am, no more questions as of now. You can proceed.
Yeah. Yes, guys. IAM user can be denied. Yes, and can be. There was a question: can an IAM user be denied password change? Yes, as in like the administrator or can the user, can the IAM? There's one tab called. I'll show you. Let me show you that. Am I logged in as a root user? Identity and access management. Sorry, I think I clicked on the wrong tab. Just give me a minute. Hmm. Okay, guys, I'll get back to you with that. Okay, but you have a particular permission that could be set. Okay, so it lets you manage, you would be able to set a permission stating that this particular user can change the password or not. Okay, I'll get back to you with that. Yes, next. And there
Uh,
was Route 53 introduction. So it is, yes.
shall I tell the next question, ma'am?
Yeah, there is. I saw one question which said, please explain Route 53 introduction. So it's going to be your Route 53 is your domain naming system that is offered by your Amazon Web Services, and it is responsible for managing your or mapping your domain names to IP addresses and vice versa. Okay, so it provides you with a means by which you can have a highly available and high performance architecture, and it's going to be having all these different routing options. Okay, so I have explained all the different routing options as well.
Yeah. One more question. In Route 53,
Okay,
which one elbow have the better throughput?
better throughput. Your
Yeah.
latency based routing will give you a better throughput. Okay, so latency based routing will give you the best throughput. Okay, if you want to have a highly available environment, or we call something called a blue green deployment, in such a case you go in for using a weighted round robin. Okay, so these are different use cases. Okay, so we're moving into the next topic for the day, which is databases in AWS. So when I talk about databases, you have two different types of databases. One is your relational database, and the other one is your non-relational database. Okay, so your relational database is your RDS as well as Aurora. Okay, AWS Aurora. Aurora is a product that is provided by Amazon Web Services itself. Okay, so you can have RDS or you can use Aurora. Aurora is like 5 times faster than MySQL. Okay, and it is 3 times faster than PostgreSQL. So those two belong to the category of relational. When I say non-relational, MongoDB, Cassandra, Redis, and also our Dynamo DB. Dynamo DB is your non-relational database that is offered by Amazon Web Services. Okay, so your SQL databases is going to be storing your data in rows and columns, and the rows contain all the information about a single entry, and the columns will contain the attributes. Okay, that is going to be separating the different data points. Okay, so here when you talk about the SQL database, it is going to be queried using your structured query language. Okay, so it is going to be very complex, and you will be able to scale vertically by increasing the hardware power. When we talk about the SQL database, so what are the examples of SQL databases in AWS? We have RDS and Aurora. So NoSQL databases, you have the key value pairs, and then you followed by the values. So the keys and the values are separated by a colon. Okay, keys and the values are separated by a colon. The key value pair constitutes an item. Okay, so this is how you define a NoSQL database, and you would be scaling horizontally by increasing the number of servers. Okay, so the queries are not complex, and you'll be able to efficiently manage the database, and you do not have to just
Ma'am, your
make
voice
sure
is
that
lagging.
result is very. Sorry, ma'am.
Voice is lagging,
Voice is
ma'am.
breaking, lagging.
Yes.
1 minute, I'll check what is the connection. Is it any better now?
Yeah, ma'am, it's better. Actually, in between, sometimes it happens like for 2 to 3 minutes, the voice breaks.
Okay. Okay. I hope it doesn't happen in the next coming days. So you have the NoSQL
It's,
data
ma'am, it's still breaking,
SQL
ma'am. It's still breaking.
database. Just give me 1 minute.
Sure. Maybe we can do the quiz too in the meantime.
Yeah, please release quiz 2.
Yes.
Guys, please take up the second quiz.
I have released quiz 2 in the chat section. Please attempt quiz 2.
I'm laughing at the comments, guys. Yes, there was a latency, right? 30 minutes behind the live. How could it be possible? Antripa, is my
No,
voice
actually,
still breaking?
no, it's fine, ma'am.
I don't know why it happened suddenly. Let's wait for everyone to finish their quizzes. Okay, I'm getting one update. Yes, Umarani at the first place. Pramod at 16th place. Yes, all done, 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 done. Who's second? Om Sugandhi at the second place. Arivaraja at the fifth place. Good. Congrats, everyone. Good work. Keep up the good work. Yeah. Okay, so let's get back to the session now. I hope my voice is not breaking now, Antripa.
Yeah, ma'am, it's fine now.
Yeah. Okay, so let's move into discussing the difference between the relational and the non-relational database. Okay, in terms of data storage, here when we talk about the relational database, we're going to be storing them in rows and columns. Whereas in a non-relational database, the data is stored in key values, pairs, okay, or documents and graphs. Okay, so that is how you store the content in a non-relational database. The schema is nothing but the structure, okay, the structure of the database. When I talk about a relational database, it is going to be fixed, whereas in a non-relational database, the structure or the schema is dynamic. Okay, when I talk about querying is nothing but filtering. Okay, how I filter out or get data from the entire database. Okay, so this is going to be, when I talk about relational database, it is going to be SQL based querying. Okay, so here this is entirely based on the collection of documents. Okay, and when we talk about scalability, when it is RDS or Aurora, it is going to be, I'll be able to vertically scale the hardware power. Here it is going to be horizontally scaling. Okay, horizontal scaling. Here it is, when I talk about the relational database, it is completely a vertical scaling that is involved, and non-relational database is going to be horizontal scaling. Okay, so yes, DynamoDB I've already given you. So we'll be having um, uh, a complete NoSQL based database implemented using Dynamo DB. It is very fast, flexible. It provides you with digit millisecond latency. So you guys have a very good understanding of what exactly latency is all about. Okay, so you want to give your customers or you want to deliver your content to your customers with minimal latency, and that's what your aim is, and that's where we have resources like CloudFront and things like that. So here DynamoDB also gives you a digit millisecond latency access to the data inside the database. Okay, it is completely managed. Okay, and it supports both a document as well as key value data models. Okay, and the data that you store inside your DynamoDB, it is going to be highly available, highly, you have data replication or disaster recovery effectively in place. Okay, so we have something called global streams that can be enabled. Okay, so using which we can effectively manage the disaster recovery for the databases in DynamoDB. So it is very flexible, and so these are the different use cases: gaming, ad tech companies, Internet of Things, and many other applications makes use of DynamoDB. Okay, so the data is stored in the form of key value pairs as well as documents and graphs. Okay, okay, so then Amazon RDS, again, this is going to be providing you with high availability and high throughput. You have the concept of multi availability zone. What is this multi availability zone? So let's say I have AZ1. Okay, so we have a region. Okay, so this is a region, and within the region you have two availability zones. Okay, I have a server here hosted with a particular application, and I have a server 1, and I have a server 2 hosted with a particular application. Okay, I have two different servers hosted with the same application. Okay, I have two different servers hosted with the same application. Okay, so this is AZ1.
Some voice is
Very bad.
breaking again. And
Let's give
also,
it a
like
minute
few,
and then.
also few people were asking to explain the NoSQL part, as during that time your voice was completely breaking.
Okay, so we'll discuss this RDS and then we'll again go back into NoSQL. NoSQL, yeah, we'll discuss this because I don't want to, redraw the diagram again. Let's finish this and we'll move into discussing NoSQL again. Okay, so is my voice better now, Antripa?
No, ma'am, it's like breaking.
What do we do now? Some problem with the internet connectivity. Did we do any? Okay, so I'll give the assignment link maybe. Okay, shall we move into the assignment, Antripa? At least will that be audible?
Uh,
As in, like, I'll be writing down in the notepad.
yeah, I guess that will be better.
Yeah, I'll be writing the instructions in the notepad, so that should not be a problem.
Yeah.
Okay, so the assignment is working with IAM users. Okay, working with IAM users. So here it has, you'll have to create a user. Okay, create a user. I'm going to be putting every single word, whatever I'm talking, I'm putting it in the notepad file. Okay, so just view the notepad file, create a user, assign permissions to the user. And then we have created a user, assign permission to user, and then login as the IAM user, check permissions. For the user. Okay, so this is the task for today. Okay, so this is the assignment 2. This is assignment 3. Okay, working with IAM users. So you will have to first create a user, assign permissions to the user, at any.
Ma'am, what we can do is like after discussing the assignment, maybe we can like wind up for today as the voice is continuously
Okay, no
breaking
problem.
so that like
Okay.
yeah.
Okay then, yeah. So this is the assignment, guys. Okay, so make sure you create a user, assign permissions to the user. So what I gave was S3. Maybe you can give S3 permission or EC2 permission. Okay, you give that, and then you log in as the user, check the permissions are reflecting or not. Okay, so that is the task. Okay, so once it is reflecting, you can take screenshots of the user console. Okay, screenshots of the user console, and then provide screenshots of the permissions. Okay, so the user details will be there. If you provide that, that's fine. And then you can log in as the IAM user and then provide the dashboard. Okay, S3 dashboard. If you give S3 access, you can give the S3 console, give the EC2 screenshot. Okay, and then check it, and then I just need the user information. Okay, the user with the user details should be there, and then you should log in as the user and check the permission. Maybe you can go, if you give S3 permission, go into S3 and give me that particular page where I would be able to see access to S3. Go into the other service and show it is not permitting access. Only 3 different screenshots. Okay, S3 console, EC2 console. Okay, so give me these 3 screenshots alone. Okay, so that'll be the assignment, and you can find the assignments in the links below. Okay, okay, guys. So because of the voice quality, probably we'll wind up the session for today. We'll meet again on Monday. Okay, Monday it's going to be again the same time, 5:30.
And this was assignment 3, right?
Yeah, this is assignment 3.
Yeah. So, okay, everyone. So, we will be winding up due to the voice lag today mem was facing. Other than that, you can ask your
Okay,
doubts.
Antaripa, just give me a minute. Antaripa, sorry
Yeah,
for
sure,
the interruption. Okay, guys,
sure, ma'am.
the second assignment I have not given, so just take this as the third assignment. The second assignment I'll be releasing it tomorrow. Okay,
So, ma'am, it's like
that will be in
on day
S3.
one.
I'll be giving it tomorrow.
On day one, there was no assignment. On day two, there was one assignment. Like yesterday, we didn't give any
Yesterday we
assignment,
had
right?
to give an assignment, but then I haven't released it. So
Okay,
today
okay,
it's the next topic, which is assignment 3. Okay, so you can
okay.
take this as assignment 2, or it's fine. Anyways, it's fine. Okay, you just submit it as an assignment.
Hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, maybe that's why people were asking like what is the assignment number. So like
Yeah,
those who
yeah,
are
yeah. I
having
got it.
doubts, so yesterday like there was one assignment, but it will be released maybe on Monday or like tomorrow. You can just attempt today's assignment, and later you can find in the community post. In our community you can find the day 3 assignment. So today is day 4. Day 4 assignment will be given. You can find the day 3 assignment maybe tomorrow or on Monday. And also ma'am has all explained what you need to do for like submitting the assignment. Other than that, I think all the doubts are clear. If you have any doubts, we will be covering those doubts in the first part of Monday. So please, so please everyone just register if you didn't register yet, and also fill your attendance form for being eligible for the certificates. And thanks for joining us. We will be again meeting on Monday, 5:30 p.m. Thank you.